In Ukraine, hundreds of protesters chanted "Free the Innocent" as they gathered in front of the Kiev Court of Appeals. The court had been scheduled to hear the case of journalist Valery Harahuts, but postponed the hearing because the defendant is hospitalized for undisclosed reasons. Harahuts is one of several people arrested for organizing a demonstration near the presidential administration building on December 1st, part of ongoing mass anti-government protests in the capital. In Simferopol, the capital of the Ukrainian Republic of Crimea, the head of the National Assembly of Crimean Tatars announced that he will lead a delegation to join the demonstrations in Kiev. Rifat Chubarov said that he and other delegates would stay in the tent camp set up by protesters until the Ukrainian leadership revises its earlier rejection of closer ties with the European Union. In Afghanistan, the National Directorate of Security announced that it had thwarted several planned suicide attacks on government sites and arrested 22 insurgents over the past week. Security officials displayed explosives and weapons they seized from the insurgents and said they were linked to the Taliban-backed Haqqani network. In Pakistan, fuel stations in Punjab province have stopped selling compressed natural gas, a cheaper alternative to diesel and gasoline. The main CNG supplier ordered a 3-month suspension in the province. Pakistan is facing an energy crisis, and the CNG cutoff, only for vehicles, is intended to ensure providers can meet all other demands. In Tajikistan, a group of activists disrupted a press conference by Rahmatullah Zoirov, the leader of the opposition Social Democratic Party, and accused him of trying to incite unrest in the country. Zoirov's opponents were angered because he had told his counterparts during a recent trip to Ukraine and Russia that Tajikistan's November presidential election was not free and fair. In Bosnia-Herzegovina, activists marched through the capital, Sarajevo, to mark Human Rights Day, which was established by the United Nations in 1950. The marchers showed support for a wide range of rights initiatives, including education reform, anti-corruption legislation, and the defense of gay rights. In Armenia, opposition parties and non-governmental organizations marched through Yerevan to raise awareness of human rights violations in their country, including the frequent arrests of anti-government protesters. The activists delivered a letter to the local office of the Council of Europe, urging that international rights organizations pay closer attention to the situation in Armenia. In Georgia, activists from the NGO Human Rights House visited squatters living in an abandoned former hospital in Tbilisi to call attention to homelessness on Human Rights Day. Many of the families living at the hospital have been seeking government assistance to find a better living situation, but without success. In the Moldovan capital, Chisinau, the local branch of Amnesty International marked Human Rights Day by performing John Lennon's song, Imagine. And that's the video roundup from Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty.